Hey, what's up, everybody? Collins here, local Chicagoland area real estate agent. Like talking everything business, finance, and real estate. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Would really help me out. I've been getting a lot of questions like, "Hey, Collins, how can I find a cash flowing deal? What makes a good cash flowing deal?" So in today's video, we'll be looking at an example of if we could find a cash flowing deal in Chicago and what you should look for. So let's do this in real time. All right, I'm gonna look in Chicago. So I like to maximize potential cash flow. So the great thing about 2 to 4 unit properties, you could get the same lending rates and lending terms as if you were buying a single family home. So even though you're buying multiple units, you don't have to get a commercial loan. So if you're, ex-military, you could get a VA loan, you could get a government-backed loan, FHA. You could put as little as 3% down and buy, a 2 to 4 unit property where you live in one unit, and do a house hack where you live in one unit, rent out the other units, and the other units are paying your mortgage, and you're essentially living in the building for free, which is a great situation. Those deals with interest rates are becoming much tougher to find, but let's see if we could find something that could, you know, hit the mark in today's video. All right, so I'm going to switch this to multifamily. And the thing I like about the medical district and the UIC Little Italy area, you have a ton of student demand. It's very easy to find renters, and compared to the north side of Chicago, if you're looking in, Wicker Park, Wrigleyville, Lakeview, you're paying a premium for those areas, and typically you can't get much more in rent than say you could actually get in the UIC area. So in UIC, you're coming in at a lower price point and you're getting similar rents. So to me, it's kind of a hidden gem within the city. But let's look at the multifamilies that are for sale here. Typically in Tri-Taylor, you could get a better deal, even though this multifamily here is priced a little bit lower. And actually, Bishop is a really, really nice block. It's a cul-de-sac, a few blocks away from UIC West Campus, and you're not too far away from East Campus as well. But let's check out this one first. So this actually looks like a 3 unit building. So it's a 3 unit building for 750K. So you have 6 beds. This actually looks all new and updated. Levitt's actually a really good block. You have a nice park at the end of the street. Yeah, it looks like they did a pretty good job here. But let's see if it cash flows. So it looks like you have an upstairs unit. This looks a little bit small with how the roof is shaped. You have a middle unit and then you have a downstairs unit. So typically the upstairs unit would rent for the most, but since it's a little oddly shaped, I'm gonna kind of discount that. Middle unit's probably gonna rent for the most, and then basement unit probably will rent for the least. But let's put in, say if we can't get this property down in price, which we probably could a little bit, since it's just listed, that would likely be tough. Let's put down a 25% down payment. Depending on your situation, this might be more, might be less, but I'm just going to look at this through an investor lens. If you are buying this as an investor, you're not going to live it, you're not going to house hack, you're going to have to put down at least 25%. If you are going to live in there and live in one of the units in house hack, maybe it makes more sense um, to put less down, and maybe you're not too worried about cash flow since you're living in one of the units. I think the zip code here was 60612. Do a 30-year fixed. If we are an investor, we're probably getting a little bit worse of a rate, so I'm going to push it up to 7.5. We're in Chicago, so we all know property tax sucks, so we're going to put 2%. Insurance also sucks, so just I'll put 2,500. And then there is no HOA, but in this HOA column here, I'm just going to put $500 a month for maintenance related costs, some breaks. It's good to have a buffer and have that covered and potential cash flow. So we're looking at just under $6,000 a month, but let's see if it cash flows. So since this is a little weirdly shaped For the top unit, I'll say maybe we could get 1800. That might be a little bit low, a little bit conservative, but I'm gonna get conservative just based on how that unit's shaped. For the middle unit, let's say we're gonna get 2200, and then the bottom unit we're 1500. So we're looking at 5500. So, whew, yeah, where we're at with current interest rates, it looks like, this would be no deal unless you want to put more money down. I really wouldn't want to use all that capital and then you're, barely cash flowing. Looks like a nice property, but looks like the numbers are really tight. Again, if you're going to live in the property, maybe it makes sense, but I would probably pass on this deal. Let's look and see if we could find another one, or let's analyze another deal. Um, let's see this one. Looks like this is updated as well. Not as nice as the other one, maybe a little bit more spacious of units. But this is only in a 2 unit, so they want actually 800K for a 2 unit. So this definitely is not going to cash flow. Here, this looks like a 2 unit as well. You're at 700K. That will not cash flow. What do we have here for 480? Yeah, it's an old frame. I would pass on that. Another frame. All right, looks like numbers are tight here, guys. Let's look at the north side. As you can see here, like I said earlier, like prices skyrocket here, and you typically can't get more rent. So this would be more of an appreciation play. You have something here for 750, another old frame. It's gonna buck down 600, another frame. I mean, frames might not be bad for cash flow. This one looks interesting for 750. Looks like it only in a 2 unit. Ooh, yeah, I think cash flow is tough across Chicagoland right now. But I hope that video helped out. I don't want to take too much time looking for other examples. But if you are looking for a cash flowing deal, I would, you know, use a similar philosophy. Make sure that the deal cash flows. You don't want to be paying money for a property you're not living at because you're going to end up hating it. You're going to hate going there, and then you're going to end up selling it for a loss. There's a lot of gurus on YouTube that say, "Hey, if it doesn't cash flow for a little bit, who cares?" You always want to make sure that you're putting money in your pocket each month. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.